StreamLabs open broadcaster software, or SLOBS as the kids like to call it, is absolutely on blast right now on social media like Twitter for some really heinous business practices. They've even been called shady by the biggest umbrella or shadiest person out there. Pokimane was very upset when she left my house last night, not because of my performance, but because of the fact that she's plastered all over the StreamLabs website on the landing page as the face of their brand, and well, they're doing some nefarious shit. Not to mention, apparently OBS, or open broadcaster software, blatantly asked SLOBS not to put OBS in the title of their company, and they basically said to fuck off. They basically said to go fuck off and shove it where the sun don't shine. And granted, they're not breaking any laws or rules as of now, but just from a good business practice standpoint, it's not good. Now, an absolute dickload of live streamers as well as YouTubers use StreamLabs as their preferred platform for screen capture or live streaming. For example, I am currently recording this video on StreamLabs right now. I have used OBS and I ended up landing on SLOBS, and I've been using it for about 2.5 years now. I will be making a separate video in the near future, a very comprehensive in-depth comparison of OBS and StreamLabs OBS, the pros and cons of both platforms, because there really is pros and cons for both of these platforms. Their company blows schmeckles though. That was one of the longest intros I've ever done. Alrighty, Stallions, share my screen over here. I have a couple of articles pulled up. These will be cited or sourced down there in the description below, as I do anytime I cover any news in the gaming community or industry. So, of course, Twitter, the cesspool that it is, has basically been slathering a bunch of news about StreamLabs OBS, but in this case, it is very well warranted, and they basically deserve all this negative publicity. Also, Mutahar over there at Some Ordinary Gamers called them out as well, and I mean, they have it coming over here. So, this is hilarious. A platform very similar to StreamLabs called Lightstream basically got their entire layout, their user interface, their landing page on their website ripped off, and this is their official tweet. Hey, can I copy your homework? Yeah, just change it up a bit so it's not obvious you copied. Bet. Clown emoji, that's StreamLabs over here. This isn't a night and day difference. This isn't even night and later that night. This is like 11:30 and 11:35. Like, they changed a couple of words here and there. It's almost identical, and the craziest part is these two testimonials down here, they pretty much copied and pasted, Control-C, Control-V, suck a D, basically reused or recycled these testimonials. It's just shady, man. But wait, there's more. OBS, or Open Broadcaster Software Project, says, near the launch of SLOBS, at StreamLabs reached out to us about using the OBS name. We kindly asked them not to. They did so anyway and followed up by filing a trademark. We've tried to sort this out in private, and they have been uncooperative at every turn. Jeez, so that is super screwed up, and in case you guys don't understand how it works, StreamLabs OBS uses the base, the core of Open Broadcaster Software, which is a phenomenal open source or free to the public broadcasting software that allows you to record your screen like I'm doing right now, and it's wonderful. It's simply wonderful. It's not the most user-friendly experience. You have to add plugins externally and whatnot, and that's where StreamLabs came into play. They added their own integrated plugin, so it's all under one roof, and you can quickly change themes on the fly, and it's a lot more user-friendly and easy to use, simple and clean, if you will. But it is a heavier program. It's a little bit more resource intensive, about 3 to 5%, and it's free, just like OBS, unless you go with StreamLabs Prime, which unlocks themes and templates and a donation page and a merch store, which is terrible, by the way. Do not use their merch store. I just made a video about it. It's StreamLabs Prime merch store is hot garbage. So without OBS, StreamLabs wouldn't even exist because they didn't do any of the hard work, the coding or programming, the writing of the script for that piece of software. They took it, the base, and then they added a couple of little plugins and integrations on top of it. So the fact that they just didn't even have the professional courtesy to oblige with what OBS requested, that they don't use their name in their title, which makes sense because a lot of users get very confused when they're looking for good broadcasting software, and they think that StreamLabs is OBS, or they're partnered in some way, or it's the same thing, because sometimes it pops up above OBS in search or something like that, and they're like, oh, it's the same program, and they just install it, and they don't understand that they're two different programs completely. Now StreamLabs did respond and said they are taking immediate action to remove OBS from their name, so I'm really curious to see what they're going to call themselves now. Probably just StreamLabs Broadcast or something like that. Now, we've already seen this tweet and this picture over here, but when you have Edward Snowden calling you shady, when you have a palm tree, an umbrella, a shade caster calling you shady, in case you guys don't know who Edward Snowden is, he's the gentleman that stole hundreds of gigabytes of private, encrypted, in confidential information from 3-letter agencies, specifically the NSA and the CIA, to sell to foreign entities and basically try and swing it like he's some kind of a hero, and he was doing it to, I don't know, do something good for the public, but more or less is all for monetary gain and whatnot, and tried to scout out other countries that would give him safe refuge and domicile, and ended up finding asylum in Russia, where he currently resides. And also there's a Hollywood movie about him that kind of tried to swing him like a hero, which I don't really understand how that's a thing. Sucking up terabytes of data into an external hard drive and shoving it up your tuchus and walking out with it. Some people think Iron Man's a hero. Some people say Spider-Man. Some people say Captain America. Some people say Big Ed Dog. Weird. I'm pretty surprised that Snowden is even on Twitter. I didn't know he had a Twitter account. I don't know if he's active and whatnot, but yeah, he's got the little blue check mark. He is verified. And it's interesting that he's commenting on, you know, the streaming community, like the gaming industry. Kind of weird. But just to summarize everything, StreamLabs is a really scummy company, which is unfortunate because their software is really good in my opinion. Granted, you can't really say their software because all they're really adding to the existing OBS platform is an easier installer and making all the tools and plugins more accessible and easier. Less clicks, less sliders and faders and knobs, just making it a lot more user-friendly, which is actually the main reason that I use it. There are some other reasons as well. For example, integration with third-party plugins and stuff. But at the end of the day, at its core, it's OBS with a fresh coat of paint on top of it. I'd never know. I never knew that OBS was like, please don't use our name within your name. And they're like, oh, suck a meat. Now, it would take something a lot more serious than this for me to stop using StreamLabs as my dedicated broadcasting software. However, I very well might switch to OBS, but it's not going to have anything to do with their fundamentals or their core values or anything. It's going to be literally what piece of software works better for me in my setup. That's going to do it. If you like the video, there's a like button down there. If you love the video, there's a subscribe button. If you would like other people to see it, there's a share button down there. There's a join button if you want to become a stallion in the stable. What the fuck does that mean? Basically, you're an official subscriber, member of the channel. I have merchandise that's also down there as well, in case you're sick of walking around naked. It's kind of cold and whatnot. And I'm a Facebook gaming partner, so I upload a lot of content only over there. So if you want to see me actually playing games, you know, getting knuckles deep in some games, which has been Ark here recently with the boys. If you're into dinosaurs having their way with each other, check it out. There's a link in the description below. Peace.